The Forbidden Truth. In the far reaches of the Orion Arm, nestled deep within a shimmering nebula, the Galactic Academy stood as a towering beacon of knowledge and tradition. Here, students from countless species, each bringing their unique talents, gathered to learn the secrets of the cosmos, from interstellar diplomacy to the formidable art of warfare. Among the many classes offered, none held more intrigue than Galactic Warfare History, a course shrouded in rumors and whispered tales. Today, the class was packed to the brim. From the amphibious Yalvians to the crystalline Scathrians, every seat was filled with students eager to unravel the mystery that surrounded humanity, a species no longer allowed in galactic conflicts. Professor Xyler stepped into the hall, his multifaceted eyes glinting under the soft glow of the holographic projectors. His presence demanded silence. Today's lesson was more than history, it was a revelation. Students, Xyler began, his voice both commanding and grave. You've all heard of Earth. A small, unremarkable planet in the Milky Way galaxy. Yet its people, the humans, have been barred from every galactic war. Do you know why? The room buzzed with quiet anticipation. Xyler activated the hologram, and an image of Earth spun slowly above the class. The blue-green sphere looked peaceful, almost innocent. On the surface, humans seem ordinary, Xyler continued. But their history reveals a species unmatched in tenacity, ingenuity, and danger. Today, you will learn why their participation in galactic conflicts was deemed too great a risk, for everyone. The projector flickered, displaying an ancient battle in vivid detail. Alien ships clashed in the void, plasma bolts streaking through space. Amidst the chaos, a fleet of human vessels stood out, not for their technological sophistication, but for their unpredictability. They fought like a cornered beast, striking where least expected and using tactics that defied logic. They were relentless, Xyler said, his tone darkening. Their creativity in warfare was both their strength and their curse. Humans are unlike any other species. They adapt, innovate, and push boundaries no one else dares to cross. A murmur rippled through the room as the hologram zoomed in on a pivotal moment, a human ship plummeting into an enemy flagship, exploding on impact. The tactic was as brilliant as it was devastating. This, Xyler said, pointing to the destruction, is why humans are feared. Their ingenuity has no moral boundaries. They invented weapons so destructive that even the galactic powers trembled. But it wasn't just their weapons, it was their mindset. Humans fight to survive, and in survival, they find no limits. The hologram shifted, showing a black void slowly devouring a fleet of enemy ships. Gasps filled the hall. The vortex cannon, Xyler announced. A human invention capable of creating controlled singularities. With one strike, they could annihilate entire fleets. It ended wars but scarred the fabric of space itself. The professor paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. The students sat in stunned silence, the enormity of what they'd just learned settling heavily over them. Now you understand, Xyler concluded. The humans weren't banned to protect us from them. They were banned to protect themselves, from their own ingenuity. The class ended, leaving the students to grapple with what they'd just heard. Among them was Velen, a young Xarian with an insatiable curiosity. As she exited the hall, her mind buzzed with questions. What became of the humans after the ban? Were they truly the monsters history painted them to be, or was there more to the story? Velen couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. And as she gazed up at the stars, she resolved to find out the truth. Humanity's darkest hour. The following day, the lecture hall was brimming with the same eager faces, yet a palpable tension hung in the air. The students whispered among themselves, speculating on what truths lay ahead. Velen sat near the front, her curiosity burning brighter than ever. Professor Xyler entered the room with his usual commanding presence. He wasted no time as he activated the holographic projector, displaying a scene from humanity's darkest hour. Yesterday, Xyler began, we discussed humanity's unparalleled ingenuity and the consequences of their actions. Today, we examine the pivotal event that led to their banishment, the Siege of Xandaris. The hologram displayed a planet surrounded by a massive alien armada. The Krull, an insectoid species feared for their ruthless efficiency, had launched an assault on Xandaris, the galactic hub of trade and diplomacy. If the planet fell, the entire galaxy would be destabilized. The Krull were unstoppable, Xyler continued. Their technology outmatched the Council's forces, and their hive-mind coordination was nearly impossible to counter. Desperation drove the Council to seek help from the humans once again. The image shifted to reveal a fleet of human ships arriving at Xandaris. They were smaller, less advanced than the Krull's vessels, but they radiated a peculiar energy, a mix of audacity and determination. Humanity's fleet was minuscule compared to the Krull, Xyler said. Yet they volunteered for a mission deemed impossible, to infiltrate the Krull's command ship and destroy it from within. The hologram zoomed in on the human flagship, the Resolute, led by Commander Adrian Locke. Locke was a figure of legend, a man known for his unorthodox strategies and unyielding resolve. Locke knew the odds, Xyler said, his tone heavy. He also knew the cost. The students watched as the hologram depicted the battle. Human ships darted through the chaos, employing tactics that seemed reckless but achieved devastating results. They used gravity wells, asteroid debris, and even their own disabled ships as weapons. This is what makes humans so dangerous, Xyler explained. They see opportunity where others see defeat. They innovate under pressure, and their willingness to sacrifice is unmatched. The hologram shifted to the interior of the Krull's command ship. A team of human soldiers, armed with rudimentary weapons compared to the Krull's advanced arsenal, moved with precision. They planted charges in critical areas, evading detection with sheer cunning. Commander Locke's plan was bold, cripple the Krull's hive-mind communication by destroying their command hub, Xyler said. It was a suicide mission, but one they executed with ruthless efficiency. The students gasped as the hologram depicted the command ship erupting in a blinding explosion. The Krull fleet, now disoriented and leaderless, faltered. The Council's forces seized the moment, driving the Krull into retreat. Humanity saved Xandaris, Xyler said, his voice filled with gravitas. But at a terrible cost. Their entire fleet was decimated, and Locke's team perished aboard the Krull ship. They achieved victory, but it was a Pyrrhic one. The hologram dimmed, leaving the room in heavy silence. Xyler's multifaceted eyes scanned the students. Do you understand now? He asked. Humanity's ingenuity and determination are both their greatest strengths and their greatest dangers. They don't just fight to win, they fight to survive, no matter the cost. And sometimes, that cost is too great. Velen's mind raced as the lecture ended. The humans' actions were undeniably heroic, yet the devastation they left in their wake was impossible to ignore. Could a species capable of such brilliance and destruction ever be truly trusted? As the students filed out, Velen lingered behind. Professor, she called out hesitantly. Xyler turned, his expression unreadable. Yes, Velen. There's something you're not telling us, she said boldly. What happened to humanity after the ban? What are they doing now? Xyler's gaze softened, but his voice was firm. That is a story for another day. For now, focus on what you've learned. The truth will come when you're ready. Velen nodded, though her resolve only deepened. The professor's words hinted at secrets still hidden, and she was determined to uncover them. As she left the hall, her thoughts turned to humanity, a species both feared and revered, whose actions had shaped the galaxy in ways no one could fully comprehend. She couldn't help but wonder, if the humans were so dangerous, why did the galaxy owe them its very survival? And more importantly, what were they planning now, hidden in the shadows? The Shadows of Exile. The lecture hall was buzzing with a mix of anticipation and unease as the students gathered for the third session. Discussions from the previous day lingered in the air, but none dared to voice their thoughts openly. Velen sat near the front, her mind swirling with questions that demanded answers. Today, she was determined to learn more about humanity's fate after their banishment. Professor Xyler entered, his imposing form casting long shadows across the dimly lit room. He strode to the center, his multifaceted eyes scanning the eager faces before him. Without preamble, he activated the holographic projector, revealing a timeline stretching from the end of the Galactic War to the present day. Yesterday, we discussed humanity's role in the siege of Zendaris, Xyler began, his voice steady but grave. Today, we turn our focus to the aftermath. What happens when a species so capable of destruction is denied its place in the galaxy? The hologram shifted, showing the aftermath of the war. Planets lay in ruins, fleets reduced to debris floating in the void. Among this devastation, Earth's image loomed, untouched, yet isolated. The Galactic Council convened immediately after the war, Xyler continued. Their first act was to confiscate all human technology developed during the conflict. They feared that humanity's ingenuity, if left unchecked, could destabilize the fragile peace. The students watched as the hologram displayed scenes of Council enforcers dismantling human research facilities, collecting weapons, and erasing records. Earth, once a key player in the war, was reduced to an observer. Humanity was barred from interstellar travel and stripped of their alliances, Xyler said. The Council's decree ensured that humans remained confined to their solar system, cut off from the rest of the galaxy. Velen's brow furrowed. But why exile them completely? Couldn't the Council have guided them, taught them to control their destructive tendencies? Xyler turned his gaze to her, his voice tinged with both respect and caution. Because the Council feared that humanity's nature couldn't be tamed. They are not bound by the limitations of other species. Their creativity thrives in adversity, and their will to survive surpasses reason. The hologram shifted again, this time to a view of Earth from orbit. The image zoomed in to show sprawling cities, their lights twinkling against the darkness of space. Despite their exile, humanity had not stagnated. For decades, humanity appeared to comply with the Council's restrictions, Xyler said. But they were far from idle. In their solitude, they turned their ingenuity inward. The hologram displayed advancements in medicine, energy, and robotics. Human cities grew taller, their technology more sophisticated. What the Council had intended as a punishment had instead become a catalyst for progress. They innovated at an unprecedented rate, Xyler said. But their isolation raised a troubling question: were they content to remain confined, or were they preparing for something more? The room fell silent as the hologram shifted once more. A blurry image appeared. An alien ship, its design unfamiliar to the Council, approaching the edge of Earth's solar system. This, Xyler said, is the first known sighting of a human vessel leaving their confinement in over a century. Its technology was unlike anything the Council had confiscated. More advanced, more dangerous. Gasps rippled through the room. The students exchanged uneasy glances, the implications clear. Humanity, it seemed, had not been content to stay in the shadows. Where did they go? A student asked, their voice trembling. That remains unknown, Xyler replied. What is clear is that humanity has not forgotten the galaxy, nor have they abandoned their capacity to innovate. The Council's surveillance suggests they are preparing for something, but what, we cannot say. Velen's mind raced. Humanity's exile had been intended as a safeguard, but instead, it had forged them into something potentially greater, perhaps even more dangerous. Were they biding their time, waiting for the right moment to re-emerge? Or were they planning something far more audacious? Professor, Velen said, her voice steady but insistent. You've told us what the Council did to humanity, but what of the humans themselves? How do they see their exile? Do they resent the galaxy for casting them out? Xyler regarded her with a somber expression. That is the ultimate question, isn't it? What lies within the hearts of a species forged in the crucible of survival? Their exile may have spared the galaxy from their ingenuity, but it has also kept us from understanding the full extent of their potential. Resentment? Perhaps. Or perhaps something far more profound. As the lecture ended, the students filed out, their faces etched with a mixture of fascination and dread. Velen lingered behind, her mind alight with possibilities. Humanity's exile was no mere punishment, it was a deliberate act of fear and self-preservation by the galaxy. But in doing so, had the Council created something far beyond their control? As Velen stepped into the corridor, she felt a surge of determination. The shadows surrounding humanity's story were vast and daunting, but she resolved to uncover the truth. What were they building in their solitude? And when they returned to the stars, what would it mean for the galaxy? The return of the unknown. The lecture hall buzzed with tension the next day as students gathered once more. Discussions from the previous session echoed through the room. Velen took her usual seat near the front, her curiosity sharpened to a fine point. Today, she felt, would bring answers that could change everything they thought they knew. Professor Xyler entered the room with his usual calm authority. Without a word, he activated the holographic projector. A star map appeared, showing the familiar spiral arms of the Milky Way. Then, a faint red line traced its way from Earth's solar system outward, disappearing into the galactic frontier. Yesterday, we discussed humanity's exile, Xyler began, his voice even but heavy with implication. Today, we focus on what happened after. This red line represents the path of an unidentified vessel originating from Earth. For years, the Council dismissed it as an anomaly. But what followed changed everything. The map zoomed in on a distant star system at the edge of known space. The hologram shifted, revealing a scene of destruction, shattered planets, debris fields, and a pulsating anomaly at the system's core. This, Xyler said, is the Loraxis system. Once home to a thriving civilization, it is now a graveyard. When Council investigators arrived, they found no survivors, only this anomaly. The hologram zoomed in on the swirling anomaly, its edges rippling with energy. It resembled a vortex, eerily similar to the weapon humanity had unleashed during the Galactic War. The Council concluded that this was no natural disaster, Xyler continued. The energy signatures matched those of the vortex cannon, a human invention thought to have been destroyed after the war. A ripple of unease swept through the students. Velen's pulse quickened. Humanity, confined to their solar system, had somehow rebuilt one of the most devastating weapons the galaxy had ever known. Professor, a student asked hesitantly, does this mean the humans attacked Loraxis? Xyler paused, his gaze sweeping over the room. That is the question. The Council has no evidence that the humans were directly involved. Yet the presence of their technology raises troubling possibilities. Were they testing the weapon? Or was this a message? The hologram shifted again, showing another vessel, sleek, angular, and bearing no recognizable markings, detected near the Loraxis system days after the anomaly appeared. This ship, Xyler said, was unlike anything seen before. Its design defies the conventional engineering of any known species. The Council believes it may be of human origin. The students leaned forward, captivated by the image. The ship exuded an aura of quiet menace, its dark hull shimmering with unknown energy patterns. It was as if it had been built not just to travel the stars, but to dominate them. What happened to the ship? Velen asked, breaking the silence. It vanished, Xyler replied. Council forces attempted to intercept it, but it disappeared without a trace. The only clue left behind was a brief, encoded transmission intercepted by a monitoring station. The hologram displayed the decoded message. A single phrase appeared in stark, glowing letters, "We are watching." The room erupted into murmurs. The implications were staggering. Humanity, confined and isolated for centuries, had not only rebuilt their technology but had also made their presence known in a way that left no doubt, they had not forgotten the galaxy. Why would they do this? Another student asked, their voice tinged with fear. If they've rebuilt their power, why haven't they returned in force? Xyler folded his arms, his expression thoughtful. Perhaps they are waiting. Humanity is nothing if not strategic. They observe, they learn, and when they act, it is with precision and purpose. But what that purpose is remains a mystery. The lecture concluded, but Velen lingered in her seat, her mind racing. Humanity's story was no longer just one of exile, it was a tale of resilience, reinvention, and a quiet defiance that shook the foundations of galactic order. As the students filed out, Xyler approached her. Velen, he said, his voice low. You seem particularly invested in this topic. May I ask why? She hesitated before responding. Because this isn't just history, she said. It's a warning. Humanity hasn't forgotten the galaxy. The question is, what happens when the galaxy remembers them? Xyler's expression softened, though his multifaceted eyes betrayed a flicker of concern. A perceptive observation. Be careful, Velen. Curiosity is a powerful force, but it can lead to dangerous truths. As she left the hall, Velen's determination only grew. Humanity's return was inevitable. The only question was whether the galaxy was ready, or if it ever could be. The echoes of defiance. The students gathered once more in the lecture hall, the weight of their growing knowledge pressing heavily on their minds. Discussions from the previous lectures echoed through the air, carrying an undercurrent of fear and fascination. Humanity had gone from a mysterious outlier to a looming question mark over the galaxy's future. Velen, more intrigued than ever, sat at her usual spot, waiting for the next piece of the puzzle. Professor Xyler entered, his violet-hued exoskeleton shimmering faintly under the room's dim lighting. His demeanor was calm, but his movements betrayed an uncharacteristic tension. As he activated the holographic projector, an image of Earth appeared once more, spinning serenely in the void. Today, Xyler began, his voice resonating with quiet authority, we delve deeper into humanity's exile and their subtle defiance of the Council's decree. What you are about to see has been withheld from the public for centuries, deemed too dangerous for open discussion. The hologram zoomed out, revealing the solar system, with tiny markers indicating surveillance points placed by the Galactic Council. A new marker appeared, an outpost in a nearby system that monitored humanity's activities. Then, an unexpected event unfolded. The Council believed that confining humanity would limit their growth, Xyler explained. But this recording, taken a century after the exile, tells a different story. The hologram showed a small human vessel departing Earth's orbit. Unlike the clunky, rudimentary designs humanity had used during the Galactic War, this ship was sleek and efficient, powered by an engine emitting a faint, oscillating glow. The vessel moved toward the surveillance outpost, ignoring repeated warnings to retreat. What happened next remains one of the most perplexing incidents in modern galactic history, Xyler said. The recording depicted the human ship emitting a low-frequency pulse. The Council's surveillance systems flickered, their feeds cutting out in succession. When the systems rebooted moments later, the human ship had vanished, and the outpost's main computer had been wiped clean. The students gasped. Velen's pulse quickened. Humanity, it seemed, had developed the capability to neutralize the Council's monitoring technology, a feat that defied explanation. The implications were clear, Xyler continued. Humanity was no longer confined by their exile. They had grown beyond the Council's reach, evolving in ways we could not anticipate. The hologram shifted to display another recording, this time from a mining colony in the Proxima system. A mysterious craft, unmarked but bearing a striking resemblance to human designs, appeared near the colony. It hovered silently for several minutes before releasing a series of probes that vanished into the colony's core. When the Council arrived to investigate, they found nothing amiss, Xyler said. No damage, no theft. But the incident left one chilling question unanswered: what were the humans looking for? The room buzzed with hushed speculation. Velen leaned forward, her mind racing. Humanity's actions were calculated and enigmatic, leaving a trail of questions without answers. Professor, Velen interjected, her voice steady but insistent, if humanity has surpassed the Council's understanding, what's stopping them from returning openly? Surely they must have a plan. Xyler regarded her with an expression that mixed admiration and caution. An excellent question, Velen. Humanity's restraint is perhaps their most unsettling trait. They do not act impulsively. When they return, it will be with a purpose, one the galaxy may not be prepared for. The hologram shifted again, this time displaying a transmission intercepted near the Orion arm. The message was fragmented, but a single phrase stood out: unity through adversity. This message, Xyler said, was broadcast across multiple council channels simultaneously. Its origin remains untraceable, but its tone and context strongly suggest human involvement. The phrase lingered in the air, its meaning both ambiguous and profound. Unity through adversity, was it a warning, a declaration, or something more? The Council fears what humanity might become, Xyler concluded. But fear alone cannot dictate our future. It is up to us to decide how we approach a species capable of both unparalleled destruction and unparalleled innovation. As the lecture ended, the students filed out, their faces etched with a mix of dread and curiosity. Velen stayed behind, her thoughts churning with possibilities. Professor, she said, approaching Xyler, do you think humanity is preparing for war? Xyler's gaze softened, but his voice carried an edge of uncertainty. I do not know. But humanity's greatest weapon has never been their technology or their tactics. It is their ability to adapt, to endure, and to surprise. If they return, it may not be as conquerors, but as something we cannot yet comprehend. Velen nodded, her resolve deepening. Humanity's story was far from over, and she was determined to uncover the truth, no matter how unsettling it might be. As she left the hall, the phrase from the intercepted transmission echoed in her mind. Unity through adversity. What did it mean for humanity, and for the galaxy? Whispers of the forgotten. The lecture hall felt heavier than usual, the air dense with anticipation and unease. The students, who had been captivated by humanity's story, now found themselves teetering between fascination and dread. Velen sat at the front, her determination unwavering. She needed to know more. Professor Xyler entered, his demeanor unusually grim. Without his usual introduction, he activated the holographic projector. The image of a derelict space station appeared, drifting silently in the black void. This, Xyler began, his voice low and measured, is Station Veritas, located near the Periphery Nebula. It was abandoned by the Council decades ago, deemed unsalvageable after a catastrophic systems failure. Yet, 2 years ago, an anomaly occurred. The hologram zoomed in on the station, revealing faint lights flickering within its structure. Motion sensors had detected activity, an impossibility, given the station's complete isolation. The students leaned forward, their eyes fixed on the projection. A council investigation team was dispatched, Xyler continued. What they found was unexpected. The hologram shifted to footage from the investigation team. The scene was eerie. The once derelict station had been partially restored, its corridors lit by dim, flickering lights. Equipment thought to be irreparably damaged now hummed with life. This technology was not of Council origin, Xyler said. It bore the unmistakable signature of human innovation. Gasps rippled through the room. Velen's heart raced. Humanity's reach had extended farther than anyone had imagined. The team found no occupants, Xyler continued. But they recovered data logs, encrypted in a manner far beyond current Council capabilities. To this day, we have been unable to decipher them. The hologram displayed fragments of the recovered logs. Strange symbols and patterns filled the screen, defying interpretation. Yet among the gibberish, one phrase appeared repeatedly: "The forgotten will rise." The students exchanged uneasy glances. The phrase hung in the air like a warning. "What does it mean?" a student asked, their voice barely above a whisper. "We do not know," Xyler replied. "But its implications are troubling. Humanity, once thought confined and contained, has demonstrated a capacity to operate undetected in the galaxy's farthest reaches. They are no longer mere exiles, they are architects of their own destiny." The hologram shifted again, showing a series of sightings reported in uncharted territories. Unmarked vessels, advanced technology, and unexplained phenomena had all been linked to what the Council now referred to as the Forgotten Initiative. The Council believes this initiative is humanity's way of reasserting themselves, Xyler explained. But their intentions remain a mystery. Are they seeking vengeance? Redemption? Or something else entirely? Velen raised her hand. "Professor, if humanity has been operating in secret, why reveal themselves through these anomalies? Why leave traces at all?" Xyler regarded her with a thoughtful expression. "Perhaps they are sending a message. Humanity is nothing if not deliberate. Every action they take, every trace they leave, serves a purpose. What that purpose is, only they know." The room fell silent as the weight of Xyler's words sank in. Humanity's exile had not silenced them, it had transformed them. They were no longer the fledgling species the galaxy had sought to control. They had become something far more enigmatic and unpredictable. As the lecture concluded, Velen lingered behind once more. "Professor," she said, her voice steady, "do you believe humanity is waiting for something? A moment to act?" Xyler hesitated, his gaze fixed on the now empty holographic display. "I believe humanity operates on a scale we cannot yet comprehend. They are not waiting for a moment, they are creating one. When they act, it will not be by chance but by design." Velen nodded, her resolve hardening. Humanity's story was far from over, and she was determined to uncover the truth. As she left the hall, the phrase from the data logs echoed in her mind. "The forgotten will rise." What did it mean? And when the forgotten rose, what would they bring with them? The return of humanity. The lecture hall was silent as the students gathered for the final session of their deep dive into humanity's enigmatic history. The air was thick with tension, and every eye was fixed on the empty podium. Velen sat in her usual spot, her heart pounding with anticipation. This was it, the moment they would learn the conclusion to the most unsettling story the galaxy had ever known. Professor Xyler entered, his movements deliberate, his presence commanding. He activated the holographic projector one final time. The display showed an unmarked ship, sleek, angular, and radiating an aura of power. "Today," Xyler began, his voice heavy with gravitas, "we discussed the event that has forced the Galactic Council to confront a truth we have long feared. Humanity is no longer waiting. They are returning." The hologram zoomed in on the ship, which hovered above a barren moon. Its design was unmistakably human, but its advanced technology surpassed even the most cutting-edge Council vessels. Surrounding it were drones, each bristling with weaponry and glowing with an unknown energy source. This ship, Xyler said, appeared unannounced in a contested sector near the Rionas Nebula. It disabled both Council and rival fleets without firing a single shot. Instead, it emitted an energy pulse that rendered all other ships powerless. The students murmured in shock. Velen leaned forward, her breath caught in her throat. After neutralizing the fleets, the ship transmitted a message, Xyler continued. It was brief, but its meaning was clear. The hologram displayed the message: the era of silence is over. Humanity returns not as conquerors, but as creators of a new order. A collective gasp filled the room. Velen felt a chill run down her spine. Humanity's return was not one of vengeance, but something far more calculated, and far more unsettling. "What does it mean?" a student asked, their voice trembling. What new order? Xyler's multifaceted eyes swept over the room. Humanity has always defied convention. Their exile was meant to suppress them, but it only strengthened them. This message suggests they have a vision, one that challenges the very structure of our galaxy. The hologram shifted to a series of intercepted transmissions from outlying colonies. Reports of human ships assisting in disaster relief, delivering advanced medical supplies, and constructing infrastructure appeared in rapid succession. Humanity's actions are contradictory, Xyler said. On one hand, they demonstrate power beyond comprehension. On the other, they extend aid where it is most needed. They are not returning as the destroyers we feared, but nor are they the saviors we might hope for. The students sat in stunned silence as the implications settled over them. Humanity was reshaping the galaxy, but on their own terms. Velen raised her hand, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions within her. Professor, what does the Council plan to do? Can they stop humanity? Xyler regarded her with a somber expression. The Council is divided. Some advocate for confrontation, believing humanity must be contained before they gain more influence. Others argue for diplomacy, recognizing that humanity's ingenuity could lead to unparalleled advancements. And you? Velen pressed. What do you believe? Xyler paused, his gaze fixed on the hologram. I believe humanity's return is inevitable. To fight them would be folly. To work with them, that may be our only hope. The hologram shifted one final time, displaying Earth, its blue-green surface serene against the backdrop of space. Surrounding the planet were countless ships, human vessels of all shapes and sizes, preparing for something monumental. This, Xyler said, is the beginning of a new chapter. Humanity's exile is over. The question is not whether they will reshape the galaxy, but how, and whether we are prepared to stand alongside them or be swept aside. The room was silent as the lecture ended. The students, who had entered with curiosity, left with a deep sense of unease and awe. Humanity was no longer a distant memory or a whispered warning. They were a force to be reckoned with, one that would challenge the very fabric of the galaxy. As Velen exited the hall, her thoughts swirled with possibilities. Humanity's story was far from over, it was only beginning. The phrase from their message echoed in her mind. The era of silence is over. And she knew, deep down, that the galaxy would never be the same again.